game.
And here we have it. The
Early
game has
bishop
begun,
F4.
and we have a bishop F4. A close setup here by Magnus. We haven't seen this opening yet in the match.
No, they're exploring a lot of different openings and defenses.
Magnus said it yesterday. He's going to mix it up.
And
he told us he was going to mix it up, and now he has. We're seeing lots of new positions.
What do you think of
Sasha
this?
Grishuk and Hikaru have actually been championing the system for the white side. Sasha was the first before Hikaru began to see some things that he liked about it. From my point of view, it's not enough. This knight on c3 kind of sits in the way of this pawn on c4. I've seen a lot of games where Hikaru has played knight b5 early. Okay, there you have it. The knight gets out of the way so that the pawn, the c2 pawn, can reinforce.
But that's why these
the
lines
pawn on
aren't
d4.
popular, Yaz, right? Because usually when you play d4 openings, you want to play for c4. So putting the knight on c3 usually loses time.
Yes, and you're looking for those tactics with
Isn't
knight
this
b5.
an exchange, Carol Khan?
Yes, it is. I was about to say, I feel very, very at home here as black. Carlsbad structure with a minority attack on the queen side.
Which Liren is quickly hopping to.
And he's just played b4. Now you capture on c3 to try to create a weakness in white's camp and try to bring as much firepower as quickly as possible to attack the pawn on c3. Easy for me to say.
And even if you don't capture the pawn, it's still a weakness, the white pawn structure. But knight e4,
Well, go eyeballing it right
that
away
is really specific.
to the position, yeah.
Instead of exchanging anything, and now Magnus grabbed something. It's always a moment when it's like, wait a second, I got to think about this one. When he
Right.
grabs something to put in his hand. This is an intriguing move, knight to f5, because it allows white to be able to take the knight on e4 and change the structure dramatically. But also, and if he doesn't, then black might play the move f5, plus he's hitting that c-pawn. This is a big moment in the game. Knight e4 definitely changed the contours and direction, the sort of stayed solid, predictable direction the game was going in. Move like rook c8 could have been played. And see, Magnus had to think about it, and there goes the exchange on e4, which now changes everything about the position in a big way. And knight b3, e5, continuing to play enterprising moves, is Liren seizing the moment to open up this diagonal.
Right, blast open the diagonal with knight takes e5.
First he takes on c3, very savvy move. And I don't know, I'm liking black.
Absolutely. Knight takes e5. That knight is eyeballing that d3 square. And again, this bishop stands very well. Offensive and defense. That bishop on g7, great defender.
Beautiful play so far.
As well as a great attacker.
Very interesting. I was about to say, that knight's got to die. That was my intuition. That knight
is worse.
cannot be allowed to go to the e3, to the d3 square.
No question.
But that bishop is clearly superior to the knight on b3.
Absolutely.
Can he play distracting influence with the pawn on c3, because it could go down the board, at least a couple of moves. But those rooks for black are going to come in very fast. And my biggest problem, move the queen out the way and
Queen G5,
get the
I
rooks.
was about to say, can we set up for queen f4?
Well, it's not going to. Whoa!
With
What
E3.
just happened? He just played e3.
And now queen g3.
In a split second, he played e3. Queen takes wasn't possible because of bishop f4.
But now he wants to go queen g3.
Yeah, that's
But it's not
idea.
mate.
I know.
It's never
but
mate.
It's head hunting.
It was just an
But
intuitive
he's starting
sacrifice
with
because
rook
he-
e8.
because Magnus has rook f3. He always has rook f3.
But what was queen g3
Rook
and queen
F3.
H? Yeah, queen h2 check.
King up.
Yeah, I wanted to put the queen into the black
But
white's
he's still
king
playing
side.
bishop to c7 to play that same idea, yeah.
He's playing for compensation right
play
now.
queen
'cause
e5,
The attack
yeah.
did not work directly, and Magnus knew he could defend, and he
Now-
has done so. But now queen e5 is on the board.
That's right.
Again,
He wants to pile up on that e-pawn.
it's really about the weakness. It's not about the mate. The mate's not really possible. Queen d3 has been played, and he's going to guard his
He's
pawn.
ignoring this queen h2
Rook
check.
e8.
Yeah,
but he always has it in waiting,
Rook e8.
And king f2 now.
anticipating a queen h2
World
check.
champions. King is going for a little bit of a march.
It's not quite a march. It's just, I don't
Well,
think, look,
hold on.
yes, I think you're more impressed by the attack
I
than I
am.
am. I think that black is really holding white in place now because he's down a pawn. What are your next?
Do we want to put him
F5,
make a
F4.
pawn on
F5, F4?
F5, F4.
And what
Let's
about-
get going.
Okay,
And he
he's
plays
just played
queen
queen
G5.
G5.
He has not played F5, F4, Queen G5.
F5 is its own concessions too, by the way, because you do weaken your king a bit as well. But I think that
You can also play for H5, H4.
And
now
now
that,
the rook
that I
on-
like.
The rook on F1 was
So we
not
can stick a bishop on
participating.
G3.
I'm not sure I understand the move Queen G5, frankly.
I like H5 as an idea, just in general. Just put it on H4. You always have that square.
You always have
there
bishop
is-
G3 check,
but-
which
but
can be quite
now-
annoying.
But now
But white
there's
wants to
a-
get counterplay with rook B7, that's true.
with the idea of rook
yeah.
B7.
So
Queen
he
H4
played
check.
Queen H4 check.
That's
King's
different.
gone back to F1.
What is the point of Queen H4?
I think Ding is wobbling
Queen
here
back
a
to
bit.
G5, and that didn't change anything. And now Rook B5. The last
With
two
the
moves by
tempo.
Black. H5. He could have also played Rook B5. So
Was he trying to take on? He was trying to take on E3 maybe, and then get a draw by Perpet. But this Rook B5 move,
Well, just a direct attack on the queen.
exactly. But I think maybe he was thinking just King F2, Queen H4, and he would have agreed to a draw because he is down on time here.
And behind a
But-
pawn, he has sacrificed a pawn.
So now if F5,
F5
Well,
always
there's
opens your
Queen
king, by
C4
the way.
check
Be
immediately,
Right.
which is we can't deal with.
Queen
he
back
had-
to F6
He had to go back to
to
E7,
E7.
but he is threatening to take on E3. That's why Rook B7
But now
now.
Rook B7.
And we would have had Bishop G3 check if your king was on F2. So that king on F1 has helped him enormously.
Yeah,
Queen
that Queen
C5.
H4 check was just not a good decision.
But
Queen
look,
to C5.
this what is wrong with Black? Black doesn't seem to have a. I was about to say have a bad position. Some the things are getting very specific all of a sudden.
Well,
Because-
knight B5.
Again, there's a big threat against the F7 pawn right now. He's trying to dislodge this bishop, but what is rook takes
Yeah,
E3?
Rook takes E3. It looks like Magnus calculated that pretty fast.
And we are being told that Bishop F4 is possible, and he
But
just
Ding didn't play it. He played Rook
he
back
missed
to E7.
this incredible shot that
Bishop F4, if because of takes on F4, Rook E1 would have been mate.
Mate.
no, but Rook takes F4. Then you have to take on E3. The tactics were very
there's a-
sharp
a
Yeah.
mate
with the
on
mating
E1.
idea on E1. No, but
Indeed.
that was not clear at all.
But this looks like Queen D4, and it's like Magnus has
Pushed him off.
righted the ship,
And an extra
accepted
minute.
the pawn, and stopped
C4,
the attack.
allowing Bishop to E5, instantly played by Ding, and now a trade. And Black is still somehow
Queen
okay.
takes E7.
Black is still okay. Black's bishop is dominating the proceedings right now, and White's king is always going to feel a little unsafe. Queen
True.
B4 might show up at some point.
And was that trade really so bad for Black? I mean, we traded your active Rook on B7.
Knight C3, Queen A3. What's happening?
Ooh,
Rook
queen, a
F-
blunder.
Rook F3, Queen C1, check, Queen to D1,
A
and now he
blunder.
traded queens, did Ding, and
But
he's
this
still
time is the
he's
factor.
down a pawn,
Look.
and he has to make some quick moves. Bishop is going to stay on F6. He's taking on
Oops.
C4. He's got 28 seconds left,
Very
and
courteous
Magnus now
play
giving 2 checks.
by Ding Liren.
And now another pawn by Ding. And there goes this is starting to look very drawish.
Exactly.
Very
Now-
drawish. I think
With
they will be
24
agreeing to a
seconds
draw
for
soon.
Ding Liren. Yes.
Magnus will play a few moves, takes. Oh, that definitely is a draw now.
No, check.
Yeah.
Just
Whoa.
That
Move
wasn't the
move
check
that
I
king.
expected.
He's not happy with what he just did. And now the E
No.
pawn is real.
No.
Uh-oh.
The E pawn is real.
I remember the Magnus.
Now, and his king is not, his rook is not where it needs to be to compete against his E pawn. And check is coming on the back rank. If he moves his rook away, rook check, E2 wins. He has to stay on the back rank with his rook, but then
Right.
he's going to go to a bad square wherever
There it
that's
is.
not going to help.
He's done it.
And there it is.
And he's
And
just going to move his
Magnus is
king
going
towards
to
the rook,
lose.
and that's it. Magnus is now trying to survive by the clock only. Queen them on the board, 11 seconds. Can Ding finish him off? Stop that king from coming any
Uh-oh.
closer. That's technique.
Oh.
He could have taken the
This
H
is hard
pawn.
to
But
watch,
this is
guys.
okay.
Hard
Here
to
goes
watch.
Ding, and it's going to be a rook mate. How do you mate with a rook alone? Here we go. Come on, Ding. You had to get your king up, and there it
Oh,
is.
no.
And now
He's got
5
the
seconds
pawn. He
left.
can't lose.
Can he do it? 4
No, he
seconds.
can't do it.
3 seconds.
Checkmate is coming up.
Can't do it.
2 seconds. Oh, he
Oh,
hesitated right there, and Magnus gets the draw.
It was a terrible.
G5 was unnecessary.
Because
And now
we could
here,
have won because we could have won both pawns and then
Exactly.
made a queen.
Correct.
And
yes.
maybe
And
that would have been
won.
faster.
That would have been
Yeah.
the winner. Giving up his
But
pawn
here,
and going
here
to a
we're
rook
about
ending.
to see where He just tilted the rook right
No,
there. That
No, by then it was already a draw.
But he needed like something like maybe 3 more seconds, I think.